Now, this is probably the best nugget you have ever heard in your trading journey, which is the fact that you can never be a good scalper if you don't have a lot of trading ammunitions on board. And by trading ammunitions, I mean a lot of trading knowledge. What is going on, guys? This is KOJOFOREX, aka GBP Legend, aka Sniper Trader, aka King of Blues. I'm back on your screen. Today's topic is basically 5-minute scalping strategy, and like the intro said, you can never be a good scalper if you don't have a lot of trading knowledge, and I'm going to definitely illustrate that to you in the next couple of minutes. So if you look at my chart, if you watch my previous video, then you would know how to have your chart looking exactly like this. So this is GBP, JPY, and then I'm going to show you on a 5-minute basis how we could have been scalping this market and then making trades using several concepts, right? So now we're not going to be using one strategy here. In fact, trust me and take this from me with all my years of experience, and then the trust you have in me by the fact that you cannot be a good scalper, especially on the lower time frame, 1 minute, 5 minutes, if you don't have all the necessary trading knowledge. By trading knowledge, I mean if you don't know support, if you don't know resistance, if you don't know even especially chart patterns, right, then you're even dead in the game. Now, if you know all of this, including knowing that day trading strategy that I taught you guys in my previous video, then you're good, right? You're really good. If you know a little bit of trend lines, if you know a little bit of Fibonacci, which is not like too much in the lower time frame because there's a lot of noise in the lower time frame, you're definitely good to go. So without wasting much time, I'm going to introduce you into how to break down the chart on a daily basis if you want to scalp, especially using the 5-minute time frame. And then the currency pair of our choice is GBP JPY. You guys know that I really mess with the pound pairs, so anytime I want to do any example, then I'll definitely my first choice of preference would be the pound pairs. And today we're using GBP JPY, right? So starting off, I'm looking at how I would have been looking at this market if I just woke up in the Asian session and decided that today I'm going to be scalping GBP JPY. This is exactly where the market would have decided to open, right? This is exactly where the market would have decided to open. First off, like I told you in the previous example or in the previous video, Asian session is characterized with consolidation. So of course, once I start seeing this going on in the Asian session, I know that the GBP JPY is just consolidating, right? Now, the moment it starts breaking off from that consolidation range, then I'm using that breakout knowledge here. By then, what I would have done next is understanding that I have to measure my risk, right? And by measuring risk, I only mean that you should know how much in pips you are going to be risking if you decide to take this trade based off breakout. So here, the pip differential here is just 8 pips. So barely putting your stop loss beneath the range, then you're risking 10 pips for this breakout. So once you buy here, this is how it's going to definitely look like. Our buy trade here, our stop loss here, SL, and then we would have made this much in scalp in terms of pips, right? How much is that in pips? That is a quick 30 pips, right? That is a quick 30 pips. That makes up for a risk to reward of 1:3, which is very, very, very good, right? You basically risk 10 pips and then you made 30 pips. Now from there, how could you have interpreted what was going on the market? Perhaps you may have anticipated that this market should have kept going all the way up, and then it wasn't doing that, right? So as it wasn't doing that, what other knowledge could you have now come on board with if you still wanted to, scalp and make some more profit? Now, here is exactly why I introduced the fact that if you don't have a lot of trading knowledge, then you cannot be a good scalper, because by here, what I can just see the market doing is creating this triangular pattern right here, right? Now, if you can see clearly, you have to have a good eye of identifying patterns. So you have to have a good eye, right, of identifying patterns, and then you have to in fact know the patterns. If you don't know the patterns, obviously you cannot have the knowledge to spot on that there is this triangle pattern here. And then I've taught you guys in my previous video, which is the simple trading strategy that turned me from broke to a millionaire. I shared in there all the necessary chart patterns that you have to know as a trader, right? So basically, when it comes to triangle, I told you guys that usually they have a characteristics of breaking out either on the upside or on the downside. So something like this, once I'm day trading on 5 minute and I spot on something like this, I can expect the breakouts either ways. It could be on the upside or it could be on the downside. This time we found it on the downside. So it means that with this, once you spot on that breakout, what do you want to do? You want to enter your trade here, entry, stop loss just above that breakout range. And then by this, how many in pips would we have been risking? Would have basically been risking barely 7 pips, and then we would have been making 20 pips, which makes up a gain for a risk reward of 1:3, right? Going on, how could you have still interpreted the market to still make on extra trades? If you extend this Asian session range, then this is exactly what we call the break and retest. So you can see that yes, we broke out from this Asian session range here, that consolidation range broke out. We made extra profit here. We applied chart patterns to make another trade here. Now the market came to retest this Asian session range. So upon testing the Asian session range, this is where you want to employ candlestick patterns, right? So that's why you need to know a lot of information before you can be a good scalper, right? You really have to have your trading game and knowledge on point. So by here, I'm already spotting bullish engulfing candles, morning star formations and all that, right? So once you can interpret what is going on here, then you can definitely find a trade on spot here. You want to put your stop loss beneath the range, or if you really want a risk averse, then you could even put your stop loss all the way here. But to manage risk out advisor, you want to put your stop loss somewhere here, right? When you're finding a trade entry here. So you can see that we have applied another trading knowledge and strategy for this one, right? Going forward, what can we have spotted again with what the market was doing? Now you can spot again that what history always repeats itself. That's exactly what technical analysis is about, right? So one rule here is that if it doesn't make sense, then you don't want to take the trade. You have to spot on something that you know before you make a trade on the lower time frame. Like the market is not telling you any support, it's not telling you any resistance, it's not forming any chart patterns, it's not on a breakout. Then you see something and say, okay, I want to buy this, I want to sell it. You're totally wrong. You want the market to communicate something very vital to you before you take a decision. Like I have a knowledge on break and retest, so I've taken that. I have a knowledge on chart patterns, so I've taken that. I have a knowledge on a breakout. Again, we can see here that what the market did form another triangle pattern, right? So in a single day, you can just rinse and repeat knowledge and then keep scalping this market on a lower time frame basis, right? So exactly what happened here that allowed us to find trade again happened here. Then we can find another trade. Again, remember that I told you that in this kind of setup, once the market breaks out of that range, entry here, stop loss above, it's a quick scalp, so you make this profit, right? And then you're out of the market. Very simple. Now, if it's doing something you don't know, what do you want to do? Basically, stay away from the market. So coming back in all this consolidation range, what do you think I'll be doing? Definitely nothing much, because I don't understand exactly what is going on with the rest of the market. Once I don't understand what is going on and then it's not for me any sort of chart pattern, then I want to stay away, right? On the next day, what do you want to do? If you understand breakout or Asian session range that I taught you, then you want to start marking the Asian session. But you can see that this is quite a big as Asian session going on here. So you may not necessarily find any trade until later part of the day. There's breakout here, right? So you first want to measure if the risk makes sense to you according to your risk appetite. Then you want to take a breakout trade like this, right? And then you would have definitely made this profit on the upside. Nonetheless, going forward in the day, how could you have extra made any trade? Remember that what happened here in the first example that we just listed was a full day, and then subsequently we have a new day here because the period separator shows us that this is the next day in this one, right? And then already we've been able to spot on this breakout trade here, right? Now it hit this point and then totally reversed. Upon reversing, how could you have applied another trading knowledge to find trade here, right? Remember that upon that upside push, it had created this resistance level here. So once you mark on your resistance and then spotting again that the market just came back into that resistance range, then what could you have then applied to find another trade? Example here, you could have applied another trading knowledge, which is resistance, right? Resistance zone or supply zone, right? So anybody that trades demand and supply, then you know exactly that you could have applied that supply zone to find that trade in that range. Now here, the first thing you want to do as always is measuring your risk. So you measure that, okay, if you have any knowledge on candlestick, it does help a lot, because by then you would know exactly after what candle confirmation you want to jump in, as this market is just consolidating back into that resistance range again. If you measure the pip differential in terms of stop loss, then this you're basically risking barely 12 pips, and then on that upside move you would have made 45 pips easily like that, right? Going on, then the market repeated itself again with another beautiful triangle chart pattern going on. So you can see that chart patterns really repeat themselves on the lower time frame, and then this time it broke down again on the downside, right? Down again on this downside, stop loss here, and then you would have made this profit again. Then we have the almighty support region also forming here, which is the market tapping first into this range, pushing up a bit, coming back down, support holding, and then a quick scalp on the upside, right? So that basically ends this trading knowledge in terms of 5-minute scalping, which is by the fact and only fact that you cannot be a lower time frame expert trader if you haven't garnered a lot of trading knowledge. Take it from me and my years of experience, right? So if you really want to be good at scalping, you favor scalping, you want to make quick money in the market, then accumulate a lot of trading knowledge as much as possible. Any concept, trend line, support, resistance, chart pattern, breakout, and then as and when you see them on the market, then you want to risk money on it by first measuring the stop loss in pips. If it makes sense to you, then you want to take advantage of that. Now, if you love this short content, smash and destroy the like button. Click in the link in the description to join the Telegram community. We have about 26,000 people in that trading community. Insane, right? And then follow me on all social media at KOJOFOREX. I do a lot of Instagram live and I share a lot of trading nuggets that is definitely going to benefit your trading career. So without wasting much time, I hope you guys enjoy this content. Don't forget to smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next content. Peace out.